Good evening. Our news summary for this Tuesday, 8th of April. Natasha Buryan took the oath of office at State House this morning as the new Justice of the Supreme Court. Previously serving as the Master of the Supreme Court, Mrs. Buryan will now assume her role as a judge of the newly established Commercial Court. This makes her the fourth woman to hold a judicial position in Seychelles. The ceremony was attended by her family, Vice President Ahmed Afif, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Roger Mossienne, and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Ronnie Govinden. During the event, Mrs. Buryan shared her thoughts on her upcoming work as a judge in the Commercial Court.
So the commercial court will be dealing with all commercial matters, not necessarily only contractual disputes, but other matters involving banking, finance, insurance, company and partnership matters, as well as criminal cases that have a commercial element. So anti-corruption cases, money laundering, and proceeds of crime as well will be dealt with by the commercial court. A lot of businesses feel that sometimes legal cases take too long before our courts. So we need to encourage smooth operations and a swift delivery of judgments in commercial matters. I will be dealing with all commercial matters before the courts. And in fact, we'll now be making mediation compulsory in all commercial matters to encourage parties to try to amicably resolve cases out of court as well. I've had a very interesting journey throughout the judiciary. I started off as a magistrate and I sat on many of the tribunals, the Family Tribunal, Rent Board, Employment Tribunal, as well as the Mental Health Care Tribunal. I really enjoyed my work as a magistrate. I'm very passionate about criminal law. But obviously there was a time when I needed to consider progression, which is when I got appointed Master of the Supreme Court in November 2021. The work was different and it took a little bit of an adjustment. It is mostly civil, uncontested matters that I am currently dealing with. I did miss my criminal work and, more, maybe I say juicier cases. But now with the new role, I look forward to delving into a different variety of cases and I'm ready to start this new chapter.
The Commissioner of the Anti-Corruption Commission, May de Silva, presented the 2024 annual report to the President of the Republic, Wevaron Kalawan, at State House this morning. Mrs. de Silva was accompanied by the Deputy Commissioner, Henry Bastien.
The 2024 annual report outlines the Commission's work over the past year. One of the major challenges faced by the Anti-Corruption Commission is training staff in criminal investigation techniques. Mrs. De Silva stated that efforts are being made to train staff in this area. A notable achievement was winning the court case against a former chief executive officer of the Agency for Social Protection. Regarding ongoing court cases, Mrs. De Silva explained that the matter is now in the hands of the judiciary, although she noted that their lawyers appeared in court 95 times last year. Looking ahead, Mrs. De Silva indicated that this year the Commission is focused on recovering ill-gotten assets with plans to use the funds to support the education and health sectors. Seychelles is currently ranked 18th on the Corruption Perception Index worldwide and first in Africa.
The Minister for Fisheries and the Blue Economy has stated that the government has been taking measures for several years to stabilize fish prices to ensure they remain affordable for the population. Minister Jean-François Ferrari was responding to a question from Poglo's MNA, Egbert Aglaé, who wondered if there were any discussions or a concrete plan for regulating fish prices on the market. In his response, Minister Ferrari explained that he had taken measures such as direct assistance in the form of subsidies to increase the volume of fish on the market, improve its distribution, and facilitate market access, including the modernization of infrastructure and the promotion of other fish varieties. The Registrar General says she is satisfied that the procedures that her office has used to restrict the sale of a piece of land belonging to United Seychelles have followed the laws governing the office. Wendy Zialo says this case is not exceptional because every year they get at least 50 applications to restrict the sale of a piece of land, and they do it after they have seen all the necessary documents. They say everyone who feels they have rights to the land in question have a period of 14 days to submit all the necessary documents before they decide to put a restriction on the sale of the land or not.
Right?
Whilst somebody, they've got the right to deal with their property, there's also what we call the restriction, which pretty much is a mechanism where a party can claim that they've got an interest that needs to be recognized. So they make an application before the registrar, for instance, if they feel there's fraud or for any cause that the registrar may determine that there's merit to stop any dealing in lands. Okay, so for instance, if there's a case in court in matrimonial cases, so the parties are negotiating the separation of properties, so they apply to the registrar, so nobody can deal with the property until the court makes certain determination. So this is a restriction. Pretty much is a mechanism which is there to uphold, to help that justice can be done.
Seychelles and Egypt have signed a visa waiver agreement for diplomatic and official passport holders. The agreement was signed on the margins of a visit to Cairo by the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Tourism, Sylvestre Radegon. Mr. Radegon and his Egyptian counterpart also discussed the possibility of extending the visa waiver to ordinary passport holders. They also addressed various subjects of mutual interest, including climate change and maritime security. Egypt reaffirmed its support for Seychelles' capacity-building efforts. Minister Radegon also held talks with Egypt's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Health, focusing on health sector cooperation. These include medical training and recruitment. Additionally, he met with the Minister for Tourism and Antiquities, Ahmed Issa, to explore opportunities for collaboration in training and hospitality exchanges. During the visit, Minister Radegon also visited 3 Seychellois incarcerated in Egypt. A delegation from Eswatini met with the Seychelles Pension Fund this morning for the 3rd time. The purpose of the meeting was to learn about the Seychelles Pension Fund system, including the various pensions they offer and how the system operates in Eswatini. The pension system is based on a provident fund where citizens receive a one-time payment upon retirement. In contrast, in Seychelles, retirees receive a monthly lump sum payment until death. The meeting was held at the Seychelles Pension Fund office at Caravel House, Victoria.
To share notes, to copy good practices, to learn how they carried out that process, including who was included in the conversion process, the challenges that they may have faced in the process of the conversion. It resulted into us able to develop an Act of Parliament, which we have used, making comparisons with some of the Act of the SPF. And then now the executive, which is the government, the prime minister in that setup, they've approved that, yes, the bill can be converted. And they approved on the basis of the information that we received from Seychelles in our previous visits.
And this brings us to the end of this news summary. We'll be back at 8 with the news in Creole. Have a very pleasant evening.